And we're back. So this is everything I got for the month of September 2023. Um, Pretty light month, nothing too crazy going on. Stacks looking pretty decent. Um, Lots of new books I've been picking up the last couple of months, and it's just going to kind of get Stacks is going to kind of get a bit fatter as the year goes on. There's a bunch of new books coming out that I really want to read, so really light for trades as well this month. But getting close same year, that's when I generally tend to order more things in terms of trades, collections. So expect more to come in the next few videos. Anyways, kicking things off, uh, the Lonesome Hunters issue 3, the Wolf Childs. Nice wraparound cover here. I really love that in this series. And as I mentioned before, what I really love is like as soon as you open the cover, you just get some art. There's no like ads or anything. Like some Dark Horse books, all the ads are actually at the end of the book, which is kind of cool. This has been a really fun arc. There's only one more issue left from the Wolf Childs. You know, our heroes out on the run. There's well, not actually, well, yeah, they are on the run because he's used this magical sword that he swore he wouldn't use ever because it kind of killed everybody he knew and loved, and he had to use it to save this young girl whose family is dead. So they're on the road trying to figure out what to do, and they stop for gas in a town, take a break, and this young woman comes across like this wolf creature. Well, she finds a child that's wearing a wolf mask, follows a child in the forest, then finds a wolf creature that's been injured, and yeah, so she's trying to figure out what's going on there. Meanwhile, the religious cult that our main hero, I can't remember his name. I want to say his name is like Harold. Oh man, Howard. There we go. Howard. He was part of this religious cult. That's what found the sword or pulled the sword out from wherever it was originated from. And since he's used the sword, this cult now knows that it's active, and they've sent some guys after him to basically get the sword no matter what. So they're nowhere near from catching up to Howard. There's only one more issue left, so I suspect we're going to get more Lonesome Hunters, which is fine by me. Again, I've really enjoyed this book. It's a lot of fun, and I really like Tyler Crook. So moving on. Red Room, Crypto Killers #4. This is the last issue of Red Room. It completes the entire series. You know, each issue is kind of like a one and done story, so I don't think it's going to tie up anything. Um, this does have the Eros Comics label on it, so I'm suspecting that's never been on this book before, and it's more of a mature nature. So I'm not going to even attempt to flip this open or anything because there's probably some pretty adult material in it. Even though for Red Room, I don't know what to expect. But I really have enjoyed this series. I like kind of the one and done thing. Ed Piskor's doing some like daily comic strip stuff now, so I'm not sure if that's going to come on anything. But yeah, really like this book. If you're into like weird horror slasher kind of stuff, I'd pick it up. It's pretty dark, so yeah. Moving on, the unbelievable, unfortunately mostly unreadable, and nearly unpublishable Untold Tales of I Hate Fairylands. This book has been great. It's like as funny as the main Fairyland book. There's one creator in particular, this Dean Rankin, who just has like the funniest shorts in this book. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's sorry, Baby Moon and Gabriel Ba? These are like two of my favorite creators, and they did a short story. Oh my goodness, collector's item for me. But that's awesome. That's a good surprise. I think there's only 4 issues left in this, or in this as well. Like I said, it's all like short stories, kind of things that happen in between the main story, non-canonical. Canonical? I don't know the name. However you pronounce that word. Moving on to issue 9 of I Hate Fairyland. So yeah, this Gert is young again because the Gert Trude that traveled back into Fairyland to try and save some boy and then getting trapped there again was then attacked by the Cloud King, who gathered Gertrudes from across the Fairyland multiverse, and in a giant battle, this new younger Gert is the only one that survived. And trying to get out, she realizes that she finds her friend Duncan the dragon. Pretty sure that's his name, Duncan, who she met when he was a little kid, and took him off his quest to get out of Fairyland, that he would probably have a key that they could both use to get out of Fairyland. So yeah, they also pissed off a witch last issue as well, so I'm sure we'll kind of see that. Oh yeah, technically she died again. Like when she met Duncan, he blasted her, but she's alive again, so probably some sort of Fairyland magic, I don't know. But again, really digging this book. the art is very similar to like what Scotty Young was doing as well. So um, Scotty Young's still writing, which is fine, but still really enjoying this. Glad he's back. Big Game, issue 3 of 5. So the first two issues are, basically just the heroes, or sorry, the villains, just killing everybody. Just killing everybody. Every hero that's in the Mark Millerverse is just getting knocked off. This cover's got the kids from the vampire book, which I haven't read. It's got, I'm assuming it's Hick. I'm sure they're all going to die. They're just going around killing villains. I'm very curious to see how, like, there's the book, The Magic Order, that's got all the magic people, wizards and witches and stuff, warlocks that protect the world. They're like a super team of Doctor Stranges. Are they going to get involved? Because that's like the big out. You can have all these heroes killed, and then the magic people show them like, this is a little bit too much, and just like snap their fingers, put things back the way they were. Or be kind of cool if just everybody dies, and I'm pretty sure that the villains are called the faculty, the fraternity, that's what they're called. And the fraternity just resets everything like they did in the 80s when they just killed all the heroes the first time. Just wipe them all out, make everybody forget, and the world goes back to normal, and Mark Miller can kind of like reboot things, have a new Kick-Ass or a new Hick or whatever. We'll see. Is he gutsy enough to do it? I think Mark Miller would. Moving on, Panya, issue 3. I think this is only 4 issues, but again, I'm really enjoying this book. I like anything that's in the world of Hellboy. Chris Robinson's a great writer. The art's been really fun. I say fun, but it's good. And yeah, it's been really good. Interesting to learn more about Panya, who's a pretty fun character in the BPRD book. And the modern BPRD story, she's a mummy that Hellboy found and has come back to life. So she helps him out. She loves cats. So you kind of see a bit of that, the cat thing, how she got her powers and kind of on this quest in Egypt to figure out why she has her powers. So, yeah, fun book. Void Rivals number 4. Yeah, so this ties into the Energon verse, which is all the Transformers and G.I. Joe stuff. Only a couple of Transformers have shown up in this book, and not as like main characters. Like they're like, "Hello, they're not like I am a Transformer." They're just a character, and then they take off. But our two heroes, or I guess protagonists, who both live in a world that is rotating or being destroyed by a black hole, I think, and they live on each side, and they're just kind of rivals. They finally found a way to get back home, and at the end, when they were like, "How are we going to do this?" Because we come from two sides of society that hate each other, like which side should we go to? The one character, I can't remember her name, the female, knocks out our hero, the other guy, and basically like, I'm going to take you back to my place, sorry. So yeah, this should be really fun. Looking forward to this. Oh yeah, there he is in jail. He's got this like prosthetic hand that's like a supercomputer in his hand that he talks to and helps him out. So it's kind of cool. But I'm really liking this book though. I should say, flipping it back over. Yeah, I usually give most books. I give like every book 6 issues, and I really like this. Robert Kirkman's a great writer. The art's really good, and I'll keep checking it out. I didn't know when I first picked up it was gonna be like really involved with the Transformers or G.I. Joe stuff. Maybe it will tie into some of the stuff later on. I don't know. There's some revelations when the two are kind of meet because their races never meet each other other than war, and they're not supposed to show each other their faces, like remove their helmets, which they do because they assume they're going to die on this planet they're originally trapped on, and they have like a vision that shows kind of like their true past where they had originally worked together, and all this stuff that basically they've been told is not true has been disproven. So they are like, should we tell our people when we get back? And they're kind of fighting about that. So I'm kind of interested in that angle of it and kind of see where that goes. So I'll definitely keep reading this book. Black Hammer, The End. This is the end of Black Hammer, issue 2. Cricket Inspector, Inspector Bug, Bug Inspector. He's got a really clever name. I just can't remember. But Black Hammer, her family, and her friend Inspector Bug are in the real world where folks read the Black Hammer comic books. And the rest of the Black Hammer, well, no, it's actually most of the original Black Hammer cast is in this real world. They all made it out thanks to Madame Butterfly, Colonel Weird. Now the Black Hammer, the world that she did come from, she finds out in the last series is part of this like multiverse of worlds, and there's a Black Hammer's going around killing Black Hammers, so that the Black Hammers are kind of a key in preventing the anti-god from waking up or defeating the anti-god. So he's going around killing Black Hammers so that the anti-god can come to and grant his wish, which is bringing back his dead family. So there's also like this council of heroes that are forming from the multiverse, led by something Frankenstein, super scientist, and yeah, also the Randall Weird, yeah, um, Colonel Cosmos or Colonel Weird is up to something. He's met like a council of other Randall's Weirds from the multiverse, and that's probably going to tie into like maybe the whole thing is just a dream of theirs, and I don't know. Even the real world is just a story of a story, because that was a big thing in the last series. Like all these are just stories, and the stories are being told by someone and being destroyed by someone, whether that be anti-god. I don't know, but again, I really like it. Jeff Lemire's doing a good job, so keep going there. The Immortal Thor, issue number 2. I really liked the first issue. It was great. I've never seen much of this artist, Martin Kokolo. Oh man, there's some accents in there, so I'm never pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, the first issue was kind of fun. Thor's, he's got the all power now, and he's kind of in charge of Asgard. And this like Celtic version of the storm god shows up. I don't know if it's Celtic, but it comes from the same pantheon of gods that Thor's mother Gaia comes from, and is basically like taunting Thor, like, oh, you just throw lightning, like I was there when storms were born. And they start fighting outside New York, and Thor's just like, how am I going to stop this? So I guess we'll find out. Now it's the Immortal Thor, and Al Ewing, he wrote the Immortal Hulk, which tied into a lot of like, what is the Hulk and where does he come from and his true origin, and it was kind of, so I'm sure this will kind of delve into some of that stuff too. So and Al Ewing also wrote a bunch of Defender stuff recently that has Loki in those books, and Loki becomes kind of not just the god of mischief, but like the god of story, right? He's a trickster and a storyteller. So I'm hoping Loki shows up in this in some way. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, moving on. More, Jonathan Hickman. Issue 4 of Ultimate Invasion. This is the last issue, and this series has been a ton of fun. It's Jonathan Hickman kind of like rebooting the Marvel Ultimate Universe, which was destroyed in Jonathan Hickman's Secret War. And basically, as I mentioned, the premise is the Maker and Miles Morales are the only two surviving people from that universe, and they're in the regular Marvel 616. The Maker confronts Miles, like, don't you think, like, don't you have these thoughts and memories of like where you came from and how this is in your real life? And Miles is like, get lost. So the Maker basically is like, I'm going to go and start my own universe. And he does, creates a new alternate universe. But in this universe, he's trying to shape it to be perfect. So he doesn't want a lot of heroes to be around. So he does things like travels using time machine, obviously, to when this new universe's Peter Parker get bitten by a spider, he stops that. He kills a Fantastic Four, and he takes Reed Richards prisoner and puts him in a doom mask and keeps him jailed in a cell where all he does is create inventions for the Maker. He pacifies Bruce Banner and makes him into like a pacifist Hulk. He basically creates this evil, and his idea of perfection is he divides the world into like 7 meter countries, counties, whatever you want to call them, and each one's run by like, there's one that's run by Moon Knight and Ra. There's one that's run by Rasputin. The Rasputins are like Magic and Colossus and their brother Mikhail. There's one that's like Sunfire and a couple of like the Silver Samurai and Viper. There's one that's run by Sebastian Stan and Howard Stark, who are now Iron Man and War Machine. And Stan actually does most of this, and Howard Stark doesn't realize all this is going on. They then, the Maker then invites them all to Latveria, which is where he lives, and he still has the world, which he like opens up, and when it's closed, it like, he can, time moves much faster there, and he opens it up, and when all these people visit to meet the Maker for their annual meeting, all these heroes show up. All these different versions of Giant Man and Thor and Captain America and the Vision and the Wasp, and the ultimate version, new ultimate heroes fight them, and they get defeated. And the Maker in the battle, though, Stain dies, and then the Maker reveals to Howard Stark, everything that's actually happening. Then he tells Howard Stark he needs to build a time machine for me. That's when you meet this Reed Richards, blah, 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 all this. It's just crazy. It's just such a crazy story. And the last issue ended where you find out these people are all coming from the future. That's why the Maker wants a time machine, so he can travel to the end of time to confront the person. And now who's always at the end of time in Marvel Comics? There's some sort of version of Kang who wears like a suit of Iron Man armor, just as purple and green. So I'm sure this is going to like tie into that. yeah, you can see here's Reed Richards in his little Dr. Doom mask. It's so wild. Um, yeah. Here's the Kang in the Iron Man armor, right? Like, yeah, this is crazy, and this is all starting and kicking off a new Ultimate Universe. There's one more, like, this is the main, this book is done in Vision, and then I think in a month or two there's Ultimate Universe, which is just like a kickoff that shows all the new heroes. And then January, there's a bunch of new books. There's an Ultimate Black Panther, there's Ultimate X-Men, there's Ultimate Spider-Man, and then Ultimate something. I can't remember what the fourth one is. I'm gonna pick them all up. They all look really fun. Like the X-Men one's by Peach Momoko and it just focuses on armor, not like your traditional roster of like, hey, here's your new Cyclops and Wolverine and Jean Grey and Storm and Rogue and Gambit and blah 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 blah. It's like, here's armor living in Japan, discovering her mutant powers. Sounds rad. It's Peach Momoko, probably a good book. Jonathan Hickman is writing Spider-Man as a grown man who's married to Mary Jane. They have children. But as I mentioned, in Ultimate Invasion, he prevents Peter Parker from being Spider-Man. So how does he get his powers? Does he even have powers? I don't even know. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And this book's been really good. This is the last issue, as I mentioned, so it's like a nice oversized thing. I read online, some folks get kind of like, they feel like Brian Hitch is kind of past his prime, but he's honestly killing it. Like some of these battle sequences, like even the last two issues, were awesome. And yeah, I thought it was great to bring him back to do this because he kind of helped kick off Ultimate, the first Ultimate universe with the run on the Ultimates, obviously. So, moving on, anyways, from my Jonathan Hickman rants, Usagi Yojimbo. This is Ice and Storm, Part 1 of 5. Stan Sakai, but you notice this is now published by Dark Horse. So Stan Sakai is no longer publishing Usagi Yojimbo at IDW. He's gone back to Dark Horse. He's got his own little imprint there called Dogu, and they're basically going back to the original Usagi numbering. So this is issue 270, but it's the start of a new story. And he's continuing what was at IDW. So everything's still canonical. Oh man, second time I used that word and said it wrong. But now it's at Dark Horse. So yeah, it kind of was on a break in between the handover between publishers. I don't know, I feel like it's been a few months since I've read Usagi monthly. My only concern is IDW was doing a really good job of printing like the original Usagi runs, like the origin stories they were calling it. Does IDW still get to print those? Is Dark Horse taking over the printing? If Dark Horse does take over, does that mean they're just like, Dark Horse already does print a bunch of Usagi Yojimbo reprints? So man, I just don't know. I've been trying to figure that answer because I want to keep getting the origin stuff, but not if I have to restart it from the first book, or some will be IDW, some will be Dark Horse, some will be maybe like Comico from the 80s. I have no idea, but either way, looking forward to this. Obviously Usagi's still with his cousin. When left off, they were traveling through the mountains and there was kind of this like demon like dude with his daughter following them. So yeah, this guy here. Okay, yeah, so that picks up where I thought so. Fighting gangs, killing dudes, perfect. So more Usagi, can't go wrong, love it. Then finally Saga, issue 66. It's been a couple of months, I think since the last one. And like most Saga issues, I'm like, oh, that ending was crazy. The last ending was really sad. And I'm not even going to flip this open to like preview it because I don't want to spoil the story at all. Glad it's back, glad it's doing its thing. Maybe just to the letters page. Oh, costume contest, cool. That's pretty, oh my gosh, first place. This one, that's pretty rad. But yeah, it's Saga. It's great. It's one of my favorite books. So I'm glad that I get to read another issue. Then for trades, all I got was Volume 3 of Norse Mythology. It's just Neil Gaiman with P. Craig Russell, and this one's got a bunch of other artists helping out. I think all these volumes do, but it's just Neil Gaiman basically telling Norse mythology. I don't want to say like verbatim, but he's not trying to. Most of my Norse mythology is from playing like God of War or reading old Thor comics. So it's something like that. It's just like, these are the stories that they actually shared and everything. So the first couple of ones have been pretty fun. It's really cool. I do like mythology, and it's kind of nice to have Neil Gaiman tell it to me. And it's even better to have P. Craig Russell draw most of it because fantastic artist. So yeah, that's everything I got for September. Next month, October, should be pretty big. I'm just guessing because I usually order a bunch of extra stuff for October because that's my birthday month. And then obviously into the end of the year, there's usually a lot of stuff coming out for like holidays. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, let me know what you think. Send me your jeers, send me your cheers. and I'll see you next month.